What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at this deck profile for my Mathmech, Constellar, Tellarknight. They all have so many different naming conventions, but let's just say Constellar. It looks like a really weird list, and in some level it is, but it's so strange that it's almost like you just need to make a rank 4 at the end of the day, and you can kind of do the full combo. It's like the important cards of your deck are in your extra deck. Kind of weird, kind of hard to explain, but I'll go card by card. So you do run 3 crossout. So I run a few extras. That way you're actually just like running 9 hand traps, and it's a little bit of a diverse group. Excuse me. Of course, Nibiru is definitely something that you're going to want to have in there for your crossout targets. You don't really have any answers for that until late in the combo. Ash Blossom is like a huge one. Drawing Lockbird is like turn ending. Effect Veiler, double Imperm, and I also do run Dark Ruler. It's like kind of like a really good answer. For your opponent going second. It's like a good going second card. I always think this is like really necessary when it comes to a crossout package. All right, so let's go ahead and go over all of the Constellar stuff here. So that's going to include 1 copy of Tellarknight. This card, you can see it. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that name. This card sends the Tellarknight Alteran, and then this is Tellarknight Altair. So the names are always like a little funky when it comes to this archetype, but these are good. Like, you want to have 2 copies. There's been times where games have gone a little bit long sometimes, and I want to have the normal summon Altair because Altair can bring back Deltros, and when Deltros comes back, that also triggers Alteran, and that's a really important interaction. But to be honest with you, since the Mathmech stuff has come out, it's just become less and less necessary. At the end of the day, this is a level 4 body, and that's what it could be used for. This is Constellar Caduceus. I'm pretty sure it's how you say it. This is a free special summon, also searches the continuous spell. Speaking of, it's Tellarknight Lyran. So Tellarknight Lyran basically also searches the continuous spell. This can be really good Ash bait. It's also like really good extender, right? If you normal summon a Constellar or a Tellarknight monster, I think it is. It's a free special summon, and then it searches the continuous. So if they imperm that, you can still overlay, go into the Tellarknight Constellar Caduceus, and then that'll search you, this card, which can get you the continuous spell as well. So it's kind of like a backup plan. It feels really good, like if your opponent imperms this, and you just like, it doesn't matter, because all you're doing is searching the continuous spell. You've won the duel, essentially. 3 copies of Vega. Vega can be brought out from the deck, so it's kind of cool. You can add with Ice Sold, and then later on, when you use the last effect, when you are able to use the last effect of the Deltros, right here, to bring out another one, yeah, you can bring this guy out too, and then you can bring out whatever you brought off of the Ice Sold, which is like pretty cool interaction. Next is like the tiny little package here for Mathmech. Mathmech is accessible through any rank 4 through Alan Burschen, obviously. So there's no reason ever to play any other, ratios in this. And even if this card wasn't limited, it would probably be limited in this deck specifically. This gives you the Omni Negate, and then Nablik just gets all 3 names in rotation. Now, this is like a weird little package that I run, but I think it is worth noting. Maybe you don't want to run it, or maybe you want to run more copies of it, but Mageline is a 1-card rank 4, which is really important because the rank 4 is full combo in this deck. So if you can make one, you can do that. So if you see only Mageline in your hand, you can go into a rank 4. Now, another thing I like about it is at the opposite end of this combo, which is putting Sessor, which is what the search is, special summons as long as you have no cards. I think in your graveyard. Oh, and yeah, if you have no monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. And that's really cool because these 2 work great in tandem, but if you just open the other card, all it is a free level 4. Speaking of, you have Ascended Sage, and then you also have Arm Sage. These are just free bodies, right? That's all that matters for. They're also warriors, so I guess that's worth mentioning for Ice Sold, but yeah, it's not super duper important, but it is cool synergy, I guess. This is Constellar, Sheraton, and Renaud. So Renaud is good with the Ice Sold package. It pairs with Living Fossil, which is a rank 4. Again, when it comes to this, almost like the Mageline, this is a brick in the hand. Like, you'd never want to see this card, and like, it's really unfortunate to see it in your opening. But Living Fossil isn't so much so, because you can literally just use it as a level 4 extender. So it does have like a use if you do end up drawing into it and you can't go through the Ice Sold combo. No surprise reinforcement of the army, just a free body to get you somewhere. Wish this was a warrior. That'd be like the best case scenario, but these are all warriors, and so many of the times you're going to get Lyran. Called by the Grave, triple cross-out designator. Of course, this is super combo oriented, pretty thin, to be honest with you. It depends if your opponent understands what your deck does, but if your opponent obviously is just patient enough to wait for the Tellarknight Constellar Caduceus, then a lot of the times that could just be turned into. The Continue spell is incredible. It's a monster reborn on activation, and then it helps you rank up, or basically you get to rank up and then rank back down to Deltros, which is a non-once per turn special summon from the deck. It replaces itself, and it gives you so much advantage, like your opponent will never ever be able to catch up. And then Super Mathmech Factorial. So the whole idea is that you go into Laplacian turn 1, or during your turn 0, and then during your opponent's turn you can activate another Laplacian. It's truly ridiculous. If your combo goes off, I would say you win at least 90% of the time. Personally, I've never, but I'm not saying I've played hundreds of matches with this, but every time I've gone full combo, I've never lost. It's just that crazy. You're hand looping your opponent for one to start the game off with multiple negates and an Omni negate, and then the Laplacian is just ridiculous in terms of card advantage. If your opponent starts playing, they lose so much. It's unbelievable. The extra deck I'm really happy with. Like, the main deck, and these are kind of silly tech options, and that is what it is, but I think it's pretty solid. I think it's a really good shout. But the extra deck, I have it down. There is a duel that I did where I used every single card in my extra deck. It was perfect, to the last planned possibility it was there, and I was it was pretty cool. So this is Constellar Ptolemy M7. This is basically you just have to go up and then go down with the continuous spell, and then this allows you to do that. This is Constellar Diamond. Obviously this is unbanned, which is pretty cool. This also just works in tandem with Alteran, so that you can use it during your opponent's turn to pop cards, and then this is just a win condition against Fallen of Albaz. Deltros I've talked about. It's unbelievable. It's absolutely insane what you can do with this deck, with this card. Just being able to, every time it goes to the graveyard, bring something else out. It's unbelievably powerful. It's ban worthy. It's so good, definitely. This is Tellarknight Constellar Caduceus. This is Trigger. It's just free. Something that you can basically add as material during the end phase for Ptolemius, and it's really one of the only options. This is Gaga Magician. This helps you bring out Deltros again and just keep abusing that effect. Alan Burst I talked about is for the Mathmech engine, the 2 Laplacian I discussed. This is Tellarknight Ptolemius. This is truly awesome. Or was Ptolemius the one that was banned? I don't remember, actually. I think this was the card that was banned. I think Constellar Diamond had always been there, which makes sense because this card's literally impossible to bring out. This is Access Code Talker. Apollousa is part of your end board. Nightmare Unicorn, of course, is used with IP Masquerena. And then I Sold, which is just great fodder for Apollousa later into the game. The side deck is what it is. This is always just kind of weird to go through side decks, to be honest with you. But one thing I think at least is worth mentioning is when I know I'm going second, I definitely throw in the Zodiac package. Chalk and 9, Barbaro helps you attack directly, and then you can use Zeus. You can take out an extra Laplacian. Most of the time you can take out IP Masquerena, and whatever else. It's a little bit matchup dependent. Maybe some of these cards aren't very good, but generally speaking, it's going to be IP Apollousa, and I guess you can kind of just pick whatever, maybe Isold or Laplacian, so those would be your 3. You definitely want Access Code Talker. You never want to not have that, obviously, especially if you're going second, but you also definitely need to have a Zodiac line to be able to go into a 2-pop Zeus, because this, it's not technically a specialty going second, but at the same time, you're not going to be so far behind. You're running 9 hand traps by default, and if you're playing Lab, you can then play even more, or if your opponent doesn't seem to be playing, and more than anything else, even if I know I'm going second, if I just won game 2, I'll lower the account, even if they're playing hand traps, right? That way I'm only playing 1 Call by the Grave, or maybe I'll just play 2 Cross Out, and this gives me the option to put in 2 more hand traps. So then I'm up to 11, and that's a respectable amount of cards to have going second. That's about what's average, and I think that's pretty cool. This is really more consistent than you would ever imagine it to be. and it's really fun to play. Maybe not for your opponent, because you're just going to be able to like destroy their resources, especially if they hit you with Ash Blossom and you have the Called by the Grave, or you didn't like need them, like the Ash didn't matter at all. You've won the game, because you're going to hand rip them for another one. Your opponent's going to start with like 4 cards in their hand, and that is not enough against Super Factorial, Apollousa, IP Masquerena, Alteran, Constellar Diamond. All of that off of a rank 4. Like, if I was playing in a competitive event right now, this is what I would bring, and I know I would be able to steal like a good amount of wins off of it. But that is the deck profile. I'm going to try to get caught up in the other ones. I was like going crazy with these gameplay videos recently. I'm going to get caught up on all these deck profiles now. If you guys have a preference on what I do next, you can let me know. But other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I will see you guys next time.